Okay, now, this is simple interest, okay? This is simple interest that we're gonna do now. So let's get started, shall we? All right. Simple interest is interest that's calculated like this, okay? Let's say I borrow $100. And the rate, Harry, do I have your attention, or are you discussing something on the phone with someone? Or are you writing on the desk? What are you doing? Do I have your attention? Is your notebook out and open? I don't think so. Is everybody's notebook out and open? Yeah? What an idea. I tell you, I have such creative ideas for students who don't seem to want to pay attention. Maybe take out your notebook. Harry, how many times would I have to suggest that? Great idea to take out your notebook and start writing and taking notes. Oh, you just got the idea. Excellent. I like that, Harry. Excellent. So, let's see, where was I? So, Eileen, you're a wonderful person. I would never have to speak to you that way. All right, so let's say I have $100 and I'm going to borrow it at 10%, correct? 10% interest, and I'm going to do it over 2 years, right? What's the simple interest I'm going to pay on that $100? 10%. Interest is always calculated per year. So what's 10% of 100? 10. So after 1 year, how much interest would I pay? $10. After 2 years, how much interest would I pay? 20. So what would I have to pay back? $100? $110? 100 plus $20? What? What would I have to actually pay back? Yes? $120. That's simple interest. That's all it is. Correct?
Yes.
Then you take your $120, you divide it by the number of months or the time frame in which you agree to pay it back, and those are your payments. The $100 is called the principal, correct? Which is represented here by a C, correct? 2 years is N. N is always in years. And the interest is always calculated per year. Interest per annum. So that's simple interest. That's all it is. Now, compound interest is going to be a little bit more difficult. Now, when you buy a house, it's all simple interest. The problem is that the amounts are so tremendous when you buy a house. And the thing is, they separate it into interest and principal. And what they end up having you do, you pay the interest back first and then you pay back the principal. Not really, they split it up like 90% principal, 90% interest. So my first payment on my house, say I pay $1,000 a month to pay back for my house. $900 of that is the principal. Only $100 is the actual house money. Most of it's interest. Same thing with a car. You're paying the interest first. They do that. They make you pay the interest first. So then if you want to pay it off early, the bank made their interest money. You get it? But with a house, you don't pay all of your interest off first. So you can save money if you pay off early, or you pay a little bit extra towards the principal. Because you can pay extra on the principal if you wish. But that's simple interest. It can get complicated relative to borrowing large sums for a car or for a house. Simple interest can get a little complicated. Not in terms of calculating the interest, but in terms of, and we'll do a couple of problems like that, but in terms of how you actually pay it back. The complication isn't in determining the interest. The complication is determining how you pay back the principal and the interest. It's not all mixed together. You get it? Yes? Okay. So let's do this. So it says an electric guitar with all attachments is advertised at 2,400 euros. If Klaus pays a deposit of 600 euros, he then has to borrow the remainder or balance at 12% simple interest. Was this for 3 years, right?
3 years.
Of 3 years I have there? For 3 years, right? Is that right?
Over 3 years.
Over 3 years, okay. What are his monthly payments? What are his monthly payments? Okay, so let's see if we can determine this. Okay, so let's work up here, okay? All right, so how much is he actually going to buy? I mean, how much is he actually going to borrow? What's the money he's going to borrow? And what do you call that? Yes?
$1,800.
Yeah, 1,800 euros, you mean, right? 1,800 euros. That's what he's going to borrow. And that's called what? Go ahead, say it. The principal. That's correct. That's the principal. Right? That's the principal. Yes?
Yes.
Now, how do we calculate how much interest it's going to be? That's the principal he's going to borrow. Does he have to pay that back or just the interest? He has to pay both back. Correct. That's right. So it's over 3 years, right? So it's going to be here. It's going to be what? It's going to be the interest is going to equal.
12%.
Yeah, but you want to do the principal, right? 1,800 times what?
0.12.
0.12 times what?
3.
Times 3. So what is that? Make sure I can still come up on that. On the video. Thank you, Mr. Videographer. He's looking out the window thinking I'm pointing towards the window.
Yeah, 600.
What is it?
648.
648. Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
648? Okay, good. All right? So, that's the principal. I'm sorry, that's the interest, right? 648. So what's the total he has to pay back? Yes?
1,448.
1,000,
448. Oh, 2,448.
2,000,
448.
that's the total, correct?
Yes.
So that's what he has to pay back, right? Yes? So he's got 3 years to do it, right? How many months is that? How many months is that?
36.
36.
36 months, right? So what are his monthly payments going to be? So it'll be 2,448 divided by 36 is going to equal what?
68.
68? Is that right?
68.
So it's $68 is going to be the cost of his monthly payment. That came up nicely. Okay. Is that easy? That's it. Yes. You have Eileen, you have a question.
So how many, like, when you found a principal, like,
Correct.
How did he find it? I didn't understand that.
Well, the guitar cost 2,000. The question is, how did Johnny find the principal? Because the guitar is 2,400. He put a deposit of 600 of his own cash on it. And then he had to borrow, he then has to borrow the remainder. The remainder is the principal.
Oh.
You get it? You okay? Good question, Eileen. Excellent question. Excellent. Can we have a little applause for Eileen's question? That was yes. But the trick is, Eileen, in terms of humility, you don't want to be the loudest to clap. Okay? Just throwing that out there. Okay, now let's do our next tape is going to be on compound interest. Are we all right with that? Very simple, but just some complications. Okay? Are we off?